Well, after a large turnout last year, Lake Bemidji State Park organized its second wreath-making event this year. Bemidji locals received invitations to learn how to make their own wreaths for the holidays. Hannah Tran has more in this week's Community Spotlight.
Becky Agnew is sharing a family tradition.
My mother made it in her basement, and I took on the tradition from there, and when I moved up north, continued making wreaths every year.
Bemidji locals who have never made their own evergreen wreath came to Lake Bemidji State Park to do just that.
They do a wreath-making program up at Old Mill State Park, and I was really curious about that. It sounded like a lot of fun, and I decided that maybe we would try it down here too.
A great turnout last year encouraged another wreath-making event this year. This room was abundant with balsam, white pine, and cedar.
It smells like Christmas. I thought it was really fun. The middle part was probably the easiest, and then finishing it and starting it was the hardest part.
Agnew harvested balsam, cedar, and white pine from her own home.
And so I harvest the boughs first. I do that prior to deer hunting season so that I'm not out in the woods during that time.
Wreath making does not require a lot of supplies, only wires, a metal hoop, ornaments, pine cones, and different types of boughs or branches are needed.
We use balsam for the bulk of the wreath, and then we also have some cedar and some white pine boughs, more as accents, little variations in texture and color.
The process is also a simple one, simple enough for families of all ages to partake in.
It is a family event, yes, and it's something that's cost effective, and they did give us a little education before we started on the different types of boughs that we use.
A series of bundles or fans of boughs are wired to the hoop, section by section. For these visitors, the challenge was keeping the bundles even all around.
When you get going, you have to keep placing them the same, otherwise you end up with a big bush on one side and something really skinny on the other side.
Once these bundles of green make their round by busy hands, the final steps are simply touches of personal flair or holiday spirit.
And you can decorate it any way you like, with bows, with cones, with Christmas ornaments. Some people like it real glittery and they'll use sparkly stuff.
After hours of precise and careful work, participants held up their wreaths to admire them. For Agnew, the family tradition continues. Hannah Tran, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.